You think it's going to be easy for a Buhari government to probe the Obasanjo administration, politically speaking?
What makes it not to be easy? Well, I mean, if you are probing to one government, you should be probed. And anybody who thinks he should probe must also be willing that other people will probe him. So if Obasanjo's government deserves to be probed, he will be probed. I mean, I don't see anything wrong in probing any government that has taken Nigerian people's money. The money does not belong to Buhari. The money belongs to Nigerian people.
Because, I mean, the reason why I asked this question is because lately there have been accusations from the opposition and the critics of the Buhari government that most of the anti-corruption fight that we see these days are simple witch hunt. And in fact, just like Chief Anika, who just left that seat, said, was that there's been a lot of witch hunt within the Buhari government. Wouldn't it look like it was a witch hunt? Because just like a lot of critics will say, anybody, just like yourself, when you move into the APC, they believe that when you move into the APC, you suddenly become a saint. You're no longer a sinner or a fraudulent person.
No. I have never been one. It was President Obasanjo who made me to be one. And I've never been one. I went to Abia to serve my people with all amount of sincerity and purpose. Even the PDP, President Obasanjo run as president. You know that if it's a company, I myself and few others will own 90% of it. I gave them the first 500 million in 1998, and I gave him the first 100 million to stand as a candidate in 1998. So calling for those who came into power with 20,000 naira, who are having mansions today, who are having all kinds of things today, who are billionaires today, I mean, it's unacceptable by me. And moreover, mind you, it will look like a witch hunt, some of them, but some of them are not, because it's a preceding government. The government that left power few years back are PDP government. And people, they cannot come and probe me as a private businessman when I'm sitting in my house. It's just the class of people leaving the office at that material particular that will be able to face, to answer questions about governance or things that have to do with governance.
Do you think there was huge corruption under the Obasanjo administration in terms of power?
There was a huge corruption, not only under Obasanjo's government in terms of power. I remember I wrote him a letter telling him when he said all governors are corrupt, I said, except me, that he should look at his table. I can republish that letter next week. You will see it. I say, except me, that all people who are talking about corruption, that the corruption was under his table in Asorok. And that is a statement of fact. That letter was written, and I sent it to him. And it was first publicized by this day newspaper. And I can still repeat it in national newspapers and national televisions next week, if you doubt that letter. So I think the Nigerian people were a lot of deceived by telling them, by even selling our national assets. For me, if I am to say, we go back to review the sales of our public assets that were sold. They were not properly done. Those were dashed to people who were loyal to President Obasanjo.
If I may ask you pointedly, what exactly is the problem with electricity in Nigeria? Is it an impossible task?
Well, electricity is not an impossible task. If anybody is careful about electricity, you can know today, when President Obasanjo was there, we had only 2,000 and some change megawatts. But today we have gone up to 7,000 megawatts, and nobody is talking about it. And it is just very unfortunate that people continue to talk about electricity. In a country, Nigeria, we should not be talking about electricity today. Electricity is supposed to be a thing of the past, during where we are today. South Africa, in our backyard here, are generating approximately 58,000 megawatts, and it's not even enough for them. This country is supposed to generate about 60,000 megawatts. So even at 7,000, 3 times what President Obasanjo was generating, we are still very behind.
Okay, let me quickly come to this very interesting matter. The movement created by former President Olusegun Obasanjo, CNM, had transformed into a political party, the ADC. Are you afraid that that may be a threat to your to the Buhari government, the APC party also?
No. I'm not afraid it's going to be a threat because Obasanjo always wants to serve himself. He's not serving the people. People don't know. Obasanjo is only thinking for himself. He's not thinking about masses of Nigeria. I know him better than most Nigerians know him. He knows I know him. I know him on the tops of Washington. I know him on the tops of UK. And I know him very well. He has a lot of things under his table. So it's just anything that is not Obasanjo is not good for the country. He just wants everything to be done by him. And I saw a little clip where my friend and my in-law, Fani Kayode, was talking about President Yaradua. That is not a statement of fact. He is not a student of history. He's not keeping the history very well because I know that $16 billion is missing. There was no project done with that money. That money was shared among people who are loyal to Obasanjo. And that is a statement of fact.
Well, those are your words, Governor Kalu, because, I mean, those are big allegations. When you said the monies we're talking about here were shared, we are looking for that money, though, because the government is raising the issues. But as a former governor, you must know a lot. If you tell Nigerians the truth, who are those who share this money?
Obasanjo's friends. Count all his friends. It must be in that book. Those that share the money.
Right. We take a breather and try to assimilate what you're talking about. But up next on the program, a group to observe a National Day of Mourning in Abuja to remember victims of different attacks. And that's despite a ban by the police and such activities. Our next line of discussion when we return.